All right, let's dive into how to totally nail a clothing operations manager interview.
Yeah, we're going to get you prepped and ready to snag that dream job using this awesome career guide, the interview guide, and some intel on RoleCatcher.
It's like our treasure map, kind of.
Exactly. So the career guide, it really lays out what this role is all about, like the behind the scenes logistical mastermind.
Right, making sure everything's running like a well-oiled sewing machine.
Exactly. Scheduling those orders, making sure deliveries are on point, the whole clothing production process.
They really are the unsung heroes of the fashion world.
Totally. And that efficiency, it directly impacts a company's productivity.
And their bottom line, especially in the fast-paced world of fashion.
Absolutely. And the guide even maps out like potential career paths for you.
Oh yeah, I saw that. You can start as an associate and work your way up to manager, director, even like VP level.
It's inspiring, right, to see that potential up front.
For sure. It's not just about getting the job, it's about seeing where your career can go with this.
Totally. Being able to talk about that growth potential in your interview, it shows the hiring manager you're thinking long term.
That's smart. I like that.
So on to the interview guide now. They have a ton of sample questions in here, which can seem a bit overwhelming, but RoleCatcher breaks it down for you.
It does. I was kind of intimidated at first glance, but they make it manageable.
Each question has these insider tips, kind of like hints from actual interviewers.
Yeah, about what they're really looking for, the best way to answer, and what not to say.
It's like having a cheat sheet, but they don't give you the answers outright. They guide you to crafting your own response, to show off your unique skills and experience.
Okay, let's jump into a few of these. First up, what experience do you have in the clothing industry? It seems pretty straightforward.
Right, but it's about more than just listing jobs. Have you worked directly in clothing production, retail, design? Have you managed projects under tight deadlines, coordinated teams, improved any processes?
So it's about showcasing transferable skills. Even if I haven't worked in a clothing factory, I've definitely dealt with pressure, problem solving, and getting things done.
Exactly. The key is to connect those experiences directly to what this role needs.
Right. Instead of I was a project manager, it's as a project manager, I honed my organization and problem solving skills, which are essential for managing the complexities of clothing production.
Perfect. And that's where RoleCatcher's AI can help. You can actually type your answers in, and it gives you feedback, helps you make them even stronger and tailored to the job description.
So it's like having a personal interview coach right in my pocket. I want to hear more about that later, but let's keep practicing these questions. How do you ensure quality control in clothing production?
It's definitely about detail, but they're also looking for a structured approach to quality control. What methodologies or systems have you used? How would you communicate quality standards to different teams?
So instead of I'm great at spotting errors, I'd talk about, say, fabric inspection or garment testing, even my knowledge of quality management systems.
And specific examples. Have you ever caught a quality issue before it became a major problem? Walk them through it. How did you identify it? What steps did you take? What did you learn? That shows a proactive approach.
Okay, I'm getting the hang of this. Next challenge. How do you manage inventory levels in a clothing retail environment? This one seems especially important with trends changing so fast.
Absolutely. It's about that balance between having too much stock and running out. They want to see you understand forecasting demand, managing those stock levels, making sure the right products are available at the right time.
I'm guessing working collaboratively is key here too, right?
Definitely. You'll be working with sales, merchandising, even the design teams. Highlight your communication skills, your ability to gather input, and how you adapt based on new information.
So I could talk about adjusting an order quantity based on a sudden demand surge, or maybe implementing a new inventory tracking system, proving I can handle the fast-paced world of fashion.
Exactly. And again, RoleCatcher's AI can help you fine-tune your answers. It looks at job descriptions and suggests improvements so you can really tailor them to the specific company.
Seriously, we need to dive deeper into that AI magic later. But more questions. This one's about supply chains. What experience do you have with supply chain management in the clothing industry? They're really hitting that global aspect.
They are. Fashion relies on these intricate global supply chains, so they want to hear about your experience with suppliers, manufacturers, logistics partners in different countries.
This is where I talk about, say, working with international vendors, negotiating contracts, and even navigating tricky time zones.
And the challenges you faced. Did you overcome language barriers, cultural differences, had to troubleshoot delays or disruptions? How did you communicate effectively across the globe? Those stories will make you memorable.
Right. It's not just theory. It's about showing you can handle real-world issues. Okay, next question. How do you ensure compliance with labor laws and ethical sourcing practices in the clothing industry? This feels particularly important today.
Absolutely. This is where you show your commitment to responsible fashion. Do you understand the social and environmental impact? Are you dedicated to those ethical standards throughout the supply chain? Have you worked with any certifications like Fair Trade or GOTS?
Got it. I talk about my knowledge of those certifications, mention relevant projects, and emphasize my commitment to ethical sourcing.
Perfect. And how you stay updated on industry trends. Fashion is always evolving, so discussing new developments and how you keep informed shows genuine passion and engagement.
Okay, so far we've covered some intense questions, but I'm feeling much more confident knowing what they're really looking for.
That's great.
I can't wait to hear about how RoleCatcher's AI can take my prep to the next level, but maybe we should save that for part 2 of our deep dive.
Sounds like a plan. Welcome back. Glad to have you with us as we dig even deeper into prepping for that clothing operations manager interview.
My interview game is definitely leveling up already, but hit me with more.
Okay, how about this one? How do you handle a situation where a supplier fails to deliver materials on time? This one's all about crisis management, thinking on your feet when those inevitable supply chain hiccups happen.
So they're not looking for someone who panics when things go wrong. They want a problem solver, someone who can find solutions quickly.
Right. They want to see you have a plan and that you can communicate clearly with everyone involved. So in your answer, first, acknowledge how serious the situation is. Explain how that delayed shipment affects production, maybe even the company's reputation.
Right, don't downplay it. And then walk them through my process, how I'd get things back on track.
Yeah, that's a solid approach. Start by reaching out to the supplier, understanding why the delay happened, and see if there's any way to speed things up.
But while I'm waiting for their response, I'd also be exploring backup options, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Searching for other suppliers, maybe adjusting the production schedule to minimize the impact.
Right, so I'm not just sitting around waiting.
And, super important, mention how you'd keep everyone in the loop throughout the process. Production, sales, maybe even the customer if it's a big delay. Clear communication is key when things get messy.
Okay, so 3 things. Address the problem, find alternatives, and keep everyone informed.
You got it. Now let's switch gears to a question that tests your big picture thinking. What are some current trends in the clothing industry? And how do you see them impacting your role as a clothing operations manager?
Okay, this one feels a bit more open-ended.
Right. It's more than just managing tasks. They want someone who's thinking ahead, strategic about where the industry's headed.
So I need to show I understand not just clothing operations, but the whole fashion landscape. What are some examples I could bring up?
Well, sustainability is huge right now. Talk about the demand for ethically sourced clothes, how it impacts sourcing, manufacturing, even packaging choices.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. And what about fast fashion? I could discuss how I'd adjust production schedules, inventory management, and even supply chain partnerships to keep up with that rapid pace.
Those are great examples. Don't forget the rise of online shopping, too.
Right. I could talk about optimizing warehouse operations, shipping processes, even inventory tracking to make sure customers have a seamless experience, whether they're buying online or in a store.
You're hitting all the right points. This really shows how the role of a clothing operations manager is changing. It's not just about keeping things moving. It's about adapting to a dynamic industry.
And the career guide actually goes deeper into those evolving responsibilities.
It does. Definitely worth a read.
Okay, next question. Tell me about a time you had to make a difficult decision that impacted your team. I feel like this is about leadership and maybe even conflict resolution.
You're right on the money. It's a classic behavioral question. They want to see how you make decisions, how you handle pressure, and your communication style.
So what kind of story should I tell? I mean, every job has tough calls, but which ones really show those leadership qualities?
A situation where you had to weigh different things, consider how your team would be affected, and make a decision that wasn't easy, but was best for the company overall.
I'm thinking about a time I had to reassign a project because the person working on it wasn't meeting deadlines. It was tough, but it was the right move for the project and the whole team.
That's a perfect example. And remember the STAR method to structure your answer. Situation, task, action, result.
Right, the STAR method. So I'd describe the project, the challenges, why I made that decision, and the outcome. But it's not just about moving a task. It was also about dealing with emotions, right?
Of course. Explain how you talked to the person taking off the project, address their concerns, made sure everyone felt supported. That's important.
Got it. It's about making those hard calls, but also handling the human side
Right.
with, sensitivity and professionalism.
Exactly. What experience do you have with using inventory management software? Here's where you can show off those tech skills.
Perfect. I've used a few different systems in previous roles. Should I mention them even if I'm not sure this company uses the same ones?
It's good to name them, it shows you're tech savvy, but go beyond just listing names. How did you use them? What features were helpful? What challenges did you face?
So I could talk about how I used a system to track inventory, forecast demand, generate reports, even how I integrated it with other systems like point of sale or accounting software.
That's great. And even if you don't know their specific system, you can emphasize your willingness to learn new tech and adapt quickly.
I could say something like, well, I haven't used that particular system. I'm a fast learner and confident I can get up to speed quickly. In my last role, I learned a new system in just a few weeks.
Perfect. It shows you're adaptable and up for a challenge. Ready for a question that makes people nervous.
Bring it on.
What are your salary expectations for this role? Talking about money can be awkward, but it's part of the process.
How do I answer without underselling myself or going too high and scaring them off?
Research is key. Look at industry benchmarks, consider your experience, and factor in the cost of living. Sites like Glassdoor or Salary.com can help.
So I come in with a realistic range in mind, but how do I actually say it?
Be honest and confident. You could say, based on my research and experience, I'm aiming for a salary between X and Y. But I'm open to discussing it further based on the specific responsibilities and the whole compensation package.
Okay, so I've done my homework, I'm serious about the job, but also flexible.
Exactly. Now for a question you should look forward to. Why are you interested in working for our company? Time to show your enthusiasm, your knowledge about them, and how your values match theirs.
Oh, this one's easy. I've done my research, and I'm genuinely excited about this company. I love their commitment to sustainable practices, their innovative designs, their strong reputation.
All fantastic points. You could also mention their company culture, how they're growing, their market leadership, but connect it to the role. How do your skills and experience meet their needs, and how can you contribute to their success?
I could say, I'm passionate about sustainable fashion, and I'm excited about your company's commitment to using organic materials and reducing your environmental impact. My experience in supply chain management and knowledge of ethical sourcing would be valuable to your team.
Perfect. It shows you've done your research, you get their values, and you're truly interested. Okay, ready for the question everyone dreads?
Well, I know it's coming. What are your weaknesses?
You got it. No one likes talking about their flaws, but it's about self-awareness and how you turn those weaknesses into growth opportunities.
So how do I answer honestly without ruining my chances?
Choose a weakness that's relevant to the job, but not a deal breaker. Then frame it positively by explaining how you're improving.
Okay, so I could say, I tend to be a perfectionist, which can slow me down, but I'm aware of it, and I'm getting better at delegating and trusting my team.
Great example. It shows self-awareness, willingness to learn, and a proactive approach to growth.
Or, I'm sometimes hesitant to speak up in meetings, especially with new people. I'm working on my confidence and being more assertive.
Exactly. Shows you're mindful of your communication style and improving those interpersonal skills.
Okay, I see how honesty can work to my advantage here. It's about showing I'm self-aware, coachable, and always trying to get better.
Exactly. Now for a question that tests your creativity. Imagine you have a limited budget to improve efficiency in clothing production. Where would you focus and why?
Oh, this is interesting. It's not just finding the problem. It's about coming up with a realistic solution within a budget.
Right, and showing you understand there are trade-offs. You can't fix everything, so you need to prioritize and focus on areas with the biggest impact.
I'd start by looking for bottlenecks in the production process, right?
Yeah.
Streamlining those areas would lead to big efficiency gains.
Great starting point. Talk about analyzing the production flow, pinpoint where delays or inefficiencies happen, and brainstorm solutions for those specific bottlenecks.
If the bottleneck's in the cutting department, maybe I'd suggest investing in a new automated cutting machine to speed things up and reduce waste.
That's perfect. Or if it's quality control, maybe a new inspection system to catch defects early on.
Or if shipping's the issue, maybe we can optimize packing and labeling to minimize errors and speed up order fulfillment.
You got it. By explaining your reasoning and connecting solutions to specific areas, you show you understand how to improve efficiency practically and cost-effectively.
I like this question. It lets me show off my problem-solving skills and knowledge of the production process.
And there's no single right answer. They care about your thought process, how you analyze the situation, and your creative solutions.
Okay, what's next? Okay, we're back. Ready to finish strong with our clothing operations manager interview prep. I'm feeling so much more prepared than when we
I
started.
bet. But we've saved the best for last. It's time to talk about RoleCatcher's AI.
Yes.
Hmm.
We've been teasing it this whole time, and I'm ready to hear all about this AI magic.
Okay, so imagine you find the perfect job posting for a clothing operations manager. You're excited, but maybe a little overwhelmed by the whole application process.
Oh, for sure. There's always that pressure to, really make your application stand out.
Right. Well, that's where RoleCatcher's AI comes in. You start by pasting the job description into RoleCatcher, and their AI goes to work, dissecting the language to figure out exactly what skills, experience, even personality traits they're looking for.
Well, so it's like having an expert recruiter break down the job posting for me, highlighting what the hiring manager really wants.
Precisely. No more guessing games. And here's where it gets really cool. Remember all those interview questions we've been practicing?
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of STAR method answers ready to go.
Well, you can actually put those answers into RoleCatcher, and their AI compares them to the job description, looking for alignment and spotting any gaps.
So, say the job description emphasizes supply chain optimization and strong communication skills, but my answers focus more on inventory management and attention to detail. RoleCatcher will point that out.
Exactly. It'll nudge you to weave in those missing keywords and experiences so your answers really hit the mark.
That's amazing. Like having a stylist for my interview responses, making sure everything fits just right. Does it also look at how I write?
It does. RoleCatcher's AI checks the tone and structure of your answers, too. It can tell if you sound too formal or too casual and suggest ways to make them more concise, engaging, even tailored to the company's culture.
No way. It can do all that.
Yep. It's learned from tons of successful interview responses, so it knows what works. Think of it as your secret weapon for crafting answers that really grab their attention.
I'm already feeling more confident just hearing about it.
And there's more. RoleCatcher also has a feature that analyzes your resume, comparing it to the job description and suggesting improvements to make it what they call ATS-friendly.
ATS-friendly. What's that?
It stands for Applicant Tracking System. It's software a lot of companies use to filter resumes before a human even sees them.
Seriously. So my resume could be amazing, but it's not formatted the right way. It might get rejected before anyone even reads it.
Unfortunately, yeah. But RoleCatcher helps you get past those systems. It suggests how to structure your resume, highlights relevant keywords, even quantifies your achievements to make it more appealing to those ATS systems.
This is incredible. RoleCatcher really is the ultimate interview prep tool.
It is. But remember, it's not a replacement for real passion and connection.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
I still need to do my research practice and let my personality shine through.
Exactly. Think of RoleCatcher as your secret advantage, helping you present the best version of yourself.
I love that. What about after the interview? Does RoleCatcher help with that post-interview stress?
It does. It has tools for tracking your applications, organizing notes, even practicing those follow-up emails.
So I can use it to send personalized thank you notes and keep track of who I've contacted. That's amazing.
Yep. Like a personal assistant for your job search.
Wow, RoleCatcher's thought of everything. I feel so much more prepared to tackle this interview.
That's what we like to hear. And remember, beyond all the tools and techniques, what really matters is your genuine passion, your enthusiasm for the industry, and your willingness to learn and grow.
Absolutely. No AI can replace that.
So true. As you get ready for this interview, think about your strengths and experiences. What makes you a great clothing operations manager? What are you passionate about? Let that shine through, and you'll be unstoppable.
This deep dive has been so helpful. We've covered everything from industry trends and interview questions to how to use RoleCatcher's AI. I feel like I have a whole new toolkit and a ton of confidence.
We're so glad to hear that. Remember, preparation is key, and with the right tools and mindset, you can absolutely nail this interview and land that dream job in the exciting world of fashion.
Good luck out there, everyone. We're rooting for you.